Okay. Alrighty, guys, we are live, and tonight we are casting Division Three Chair League match for the Tuesday night league, and this is a match between First Pick Nova and Pete's Angels. Both of these teams are sitting at 3 wins and are competing for that coveted first place spot in the Division Three. So, from what I understand, the team First Pick Nova it plays on both nights. They're a 2 night team, so highly competitive, and this should be a good game tonight. I'm joined tonight by my good buddy and friend, also on our chair league team, the Lords of the Exodar, my good buddy Mega Zergling. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? It's going pretty good. Gonna try this casting thing.
Yeah, this casting thing. So yeah, this is going to be a new venture for me. This is my first cast, and big shout outs to Liquid GG. He helped me get a lot of this set up and invited me on a cast as well. Got me set up, and big shout outs to Hero Physio for also helping me with that as well. So lots of great people in the community here, just trying to help each other out. So looks like the lobby's getting made here. We should be getting started here soon. So, Josh, we actually played First Pick Nova last Thursday
Yeah, we did.
in our chair league game, and while we lost, I thought it was a very competitive game, and they really brought it. They're a good team.
Yeah, they definitely had some very critical moments to overtake us in the end. But I think they were pretty close games.
Yeah. All right, they're
Looks
inviting
like
us
we're
to the
getting the
lobby.
lobby all set up. Uh-oh, we're gonna be on team two.
Okay. Get our rematch.
Let me let them know.
There we go. Okay.
Excellent. Yes, I'm definitely not the captain of the other team. Oh, looks like we got some people checking in the stream here.
Kicks, I think he's on First Pick Nova. How's it going, Kicks? All right, looks like the first map is going to be Cursed Hollow.
Very standard,
And
very competitive,
and it looks
old
like
school.
First Pick Nova's map pick. So they picked Cursed Hollow tonight. Just about ready here. So as a seasoned veteran like yourself, when you are playing on Cursed Hollow, what are some of your favorite heroes that you like, Mega?
Well, I'm always a big fan of Kael'thas, regardless of the map. But in a
Don't
map like
share your
Cursed Hollow,
secret.
I think the secret's out if anybody watched our last round of games. On a map like Cursed Hollow that's so big, the heroes you want to prioritize are the global ones. So you want to
Mhm.
get that Tahaka and burrow around the map. You want to get that Falstad fly around the map. Maybe we'll see a resurgence of ETC with that stage dive.
Yep. ETCs seem to be a little healthier the past few weeks with the changes to a new Barak, a little less stuns to interrupt his mosh and stuff like that. Um, and we're also, you know, I like to have boss control as well, so that Falstad doubles with that global and boss control. Sometimes I like to go with the Tyrael on this map too, so we'll see what they go with here. And Pete's Angels is going to have the first pick. They are immediately hovering that Genji though.
He's a scary hero, especially if you don't have the tools in your team to deal with him. He's got that high mobility. That's also a good thing to have on this map. There's a lot of tight little corners and corridors you can hide in and run around. And he's great for the last minute poke on poking out those tributes.
Yeah, the fights tend to get elongated over the tribute, and so Genji can help end those fights a little bit earlier and clean it up. And we'll see what first pick Nova is going to go with here. This is a team that is shown to really like the Nubarak Stukov combo. They play it very, very well, so I don't see them banning it. And so they end up going with the Dahaka ban, which you were talking about earlier, controlling for those globals.
Yep, they eliminate some of that wave clear off the bat.
And Pete's Angels responds they don't want to let the global control go over to first pick Nova. So we'll see what first pick Nova responds with. They do like to go with that early Uther and or Stukov pick, possibly an Anubarak. It's one of their favorites, and it does give you that nice boss control, just good team fighting presence, and just a really nice first pick.
It's interesting though, in banning out the Dahaka and the other team, Pete's Angels, excuse me, picking up the Falstad, they've already kind of limited their global presence. But they do respond, just like you said, with the Anubarak and the Uther. When you've got available what you're good at, why not go ahead and grab it?
Yeah, and honestly, you can't really find better top tier meta picks than Anubarak Uther on the first round. So letting those through may spell the downfall of Pete's Angels, but if they can control this with the gust and maybe respond with a Stukov here, that might be good. What kind of tank you looking here to counter against what first pick Nova has?
I'm not really sure about a tank. My mind immediately goes to how do you deal with the Anubarak, especially if you get that last minute Divine Shield from an Uther. Tank picks are still early. That ETC we were talking about still on the table. Add to your globals.
Mm-hmm.
Varian's also always a solid choice. You have the option to switch into DPS later.
Yep. The Malfurion's going to help counter the dive of the Anubarak, and of course the taunt will help focus down a little bit. You know, it's possible we could see a Butcher tonight from either side. You know, a strong melee bruiser kind of tears into Anubarak, so we might see it on the opposite side, but it could also combo well with the Uther for first pick Nova. So Butcher's been really popular this past week.
Very true.
All right, but we are looking at the ban phase here. Let's see, what's left that could be a problem? Okay.
So they're trying to limit that second frontline presence, get some of the double tank out of the way. Maybe force them into more a streamlined option.
So if you're Pete's Angels then, and you see the Arthas is gone, who is another strong tank to follow up with the Varian? Because Varian, can do the solo tank business, but he kind of needs some help up there.
Well, you could always go with the Stitches and combo a hook with a taunt.
And the root.
Backliners and the root, and just lock them down. Hook doesn't play too well with Falstad, but you can make it work. Kerrigan is an interesting ban. I wonder if that was targeted.
Yeah, especially for this map. That has to have a very specific purpose. There are a lot of choke points, so Kerrigan does get some value there, but I don't know. I don't know if that would have been my pick, but they might have some insight that we don't have.
You know, Kerrigan does pair well with Uther. It used to be kind of a classic thing that she would pop Maelstrom and go ahead and give her the Divine Shield. She just dives into the whole enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a great way to clear up a tribute. And you could even use it for a little bit of boss steal.
Yeah, things get crazy when there's a clump kind of scenario, and Kerrigan just wreaks havoc on one point, and those bosses can be highly contended, and she can really change up the game there. All right, but might see a Vala here. Okay, so they go with the Greymane. And there's the Stitches. They did not want to let that go over to Pete's Angels.
Your stream is saying that my mic needs to be turned up.
Okay, I can certainly do that. All right, let us know how it is, chat. Thank you very much.
So the Stitches is a good pick with the Anubarak, especially since the Stitches could be a good counter to the Anubarak Uther, like we were just talking about. Um, Stitches Anubarak is something that First Pick Nova likes to run.
Yeah.
They've had some pretty good success with it. I honestly don't really understand how it works, but they've made it work.
All right. You know, I could see maybe even a Tychus here to just get that nice percentage damage against Anubarak and Stitches. And if they get a nice solid front line, the Falstad and Tychus will feel pretty confident, I think.
True. I'd look for Leoric's a good pick. Nazeebo makes sense for the map. See how it plays with their comp. I think personally I would have picked into something AA based that's designed to shred tanks. Both Stitches and Anubarak are kind of your anti-mage tanks. It's a good opportunity to pick up your Vala, maybe your Raynor. They took the Greymane from you. Tychus would also be a good one.
Yep.
So what rounds out this comp from First Pick Nova?
We've seen them go with a Tassadar. They like it as a pseudo damage. I don't know that they feel that way with the Greymane. They might go with a Vala. Let's see, what else do they have on the side there? They could go with a Li Ming. Greymane Li Ming would be a nice pairing here, I think.
I think they also need to consider. Well, there's Li Ming.
There it is.
They're a little light on wave clear.
Yeah.
It looks like they're building into the fight. Maybe really try to contest those tributes and just keep the curse pressure up.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see I think the slam build Stitches help with that wave clear. I don't think that Denver Magic is necessarily going to get a massive ton of value here, so go with that slam build, help with the wave clear, help with the damage, and it's going to enable the Greymane Li Ming resets. All right. Okay.
Do you like to do your team announcing?
Yeah, we'll do it right here. We got the on First Pick Nova, Mongoose on the Anubarak, Tech on Greymane, Osteel on Uther, Jet on Li Ming, and Grendel on the Stitches. And I'll let you take the red team.
All right, over to Pete's Angels. We've got Hopscotch playing the Nazeebo, Not a Snake playing the Falstad, Short Spider on the Varian, Flyboy on the Malfurion, and Servo Stopper on the Leoric.
Alrighty, bring up our talent screen here. So what we got. We are going to go with that slam build on the Stitches, and Li Ming's feeling a little skittish against the heavy focus damage that Pete's Angels has, so he's going to go ahead and take that Force Armor talent at level 1 and a standard cocktail build from Greymane. Seasoned Marksman on the Falstad, going to try and rip apart the Stitches and Anubarak. And it looks pretty standard otherwise. The Leoric and Nazeebo are holding their level 1 talent, so we'll see how that goes.
I find it a little interesting that the Anubarak took
the hook lands on the Leoric, but he's going to Eon out of there.
That was a great hook. Worst target.
That's right. Got a pretty significant amount of damage, though. It's going to start draining the resources of Malfurion. And okay, Anubarak's going to head on bottom. Going to be met by...
the top there.
Yep. Alright, and they're going to keep with the 1-3-1 rotation here. The Nazeebo is going to outpush that Anubarak, but it's not going to be too much of a concern. Really, when you're looking to trade in the lane in the early game, you win by not losing the lane. As long as you maintain that soak, then you're doing your job. And it does look like Leoric is going to build into the W, look to control the double tank front line that First Pick Nova has.
What did the Nazeebo end up going with? Thing of the Deep, so he's going to be putting out that range damage. Gonna give him a little more poke around those tributes.
And that's your favorite way to play Nazeebo, is that right? With the Thing of the Deep build?
I go back and forth, but on big maps like this one where poke is a priority, then I think that's definitely the way to build it. Smaller maps maybe head toward the spider build. If you think that you'll be suffering late game, maybe Toad's the way to go to help you defend against those core pushes, but obviously you don't want to plan to be the losing team at the end.
First pick Nova going ahead and preparing for the siege camp. They're swapping up Li Ming. Jet's going to come up here and challenge the servo stopper on the Leoric, and Greymane is immediately there to take the camp. And same thing with the Falstad, but he's going to need a little bit of help from Malfurion. He almost went down there to the Giants.
Those things pack a lot of punch at level 3, level 4.
Osteel taking Pursuit of Justice at level 4. Mad props. So I actually really like that talent. Not a lot of people are taking it. It's going to allow him to chase down and keep the stuns going.
Looks like they're planning to be the aggressors in the match. That sort of fits with the comp that they've built.
Gather tribute and
All right.
Got the first tribute spawning in the bottom here. A little unfortunate for Pete's Angels. These Giants won't last very long.
Yeah, with the Giants up top, they're going to get a little bit more value out of that. And first pick Nova is going to be able to contest. Doesn't look like Pete's Angels is going to be able to contest this very strongly. Okay, the zombie wall traps Short Spider in, but he's able to get out. Greymane taking a lot of damage from the Leoric, and he ends up going down.
Yeah, the Falstad Q was on point. The Not a Snake did a good job there. He got that fly in at just the right time to really turn the tide of the battle.
Yeah,
Osteel's in trouble.
well, still, you can make it, buddy. You can make it. Oh, the Drain Hope ends up taking him out. Kind of a little lack of coordination, I think, from First Pick Nova. There seemed to be two competing philosophies of whether or not they were going to bolster out and push Pete's Angels out of the curse area, or whether they were going to hook them in and engage. They ended up doing a little bit of both, and it kind of incentivized Pete's Angels to aggress in and protect their hook targets.
What's the big problem you see with Stitch's teams is, you know, your front line pulls people into the back line, and how do you deal with that as a team? Pairing that with the Anubarak is rough because the Anubarak obviously likes the dive. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with that going forward in the match.
Yeah, both teams doing a good job of keeping the lanes soaked, staying on top of the experience. Interesting build here from the Nazeebo player, going with the Thing of the Deep and then continuing with the Spider build from there on out.
That is interesting.
First pick Nova is going to get here early, and the team who sets up first usually gets the tribute because they get a little more advantageous position. So they're able to get this without contest. And instead, Pete's Angels is going to go ahead and move on to the Bruiser camp.
Yeah, they saw pretty early they weren't going to be able to make it.
Not a Snake might get caught out here. He's been chain stunned by the Anubarak and the Uther, and the Stitch is going to come in and probably finish it out. Yep, and there's the kill.
It was a good hook for the end. But he also was a great distraction so they could finish up this Bruiser camp and get it going in the middle. Then again, Pete's Angels doesn't really have anything happening in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they kind of missed out on some soak there, and First Pick Nova got some siege damage, but still the teams are relatively even, and Falstad is back up to help with this curse, so it should be on even terms here for the most part. And just like I said earlier, Pete's Angels is set up first, and oh, Osteel, be careful there, buddy, coming in from behind into their 4-man. Nice hook from Grendel is going to put a lot of pressure onto the Falstad. And Pete's Angels is doing a nice job of bolstering the team out from this curse point.
Yep, we see the Malfurion flirting on Flyboy, whether or not he's going to grab the tribute or support the team. It looks like they poked it out enough for Flyboy's going to be able to pick it up safely.
All right, and Greymane's going to head on bottom, make sure he gets that soak. pretty high potential that first pick Nova is going to get 10 before the next tribute. Probably both teams will get 10 before the next tribute, hopefully, if they manage to keep their soak up. So it's really going to be a matter of heroic timings on this next one, and we could see a curse going over to Pete's Angels if not played carefully enough.
So with our 2 tribute locations, do we know where the third one? Oh, we've had 3 tributes.
Yeah, we've
so
had
we
the
don't know where
third,
fourth
so
one's
we'll
gonna
see
be.
what happens on this next one. Okay, the heroic is picked up. They're holding on to it. But all right, Wave of Force taking on the Li Ming. Nazeebo going ahead and taking the Siege Camp. That's going to give him a little bit of advantage here because first pick Nova has not moved over there yet. I like this move from Greymane. If you don't know where your opponent is, Tech is just waiting in the bush. You know, there's no reason to show and give your opponent information. Okay, relatively neutral point here for both teams based on their location. But it looks like Pete's Angels is going to get here first, so...
They had a little bit of an advantage. They still had 4 people bottom, and the one top was that false set. Ooh.
Uh-oh. Nubrak dives in, but he's right in the middle of the team. The Divine Shield's going to help him get out, but it might not be enough. The Leoric ends up going down, and Mongoose is able to get away. Nice,
Wow.
and first pick Nova is cleaning up here. I did not expect it to go that way. Mongoose jebaited.
Very nice play out of Mongoose. I thought he was a goner for sure.
He needs to send a batch of cookies over to his buddy Osteel's house because that Divine Shield turned the tide. Leoric going to be scouting out the boss. Not going to do much to contest it unless the team can get here. It looks like they might be trying to, though. First pick Nova is relatively low. They're going to have to be careful here.
They're making a
The-
play to contest.
It's too late, but Tech's going to go down, and Leoric's probably going to trade as well. But this boss is going to be nice. They're probably going to get a boss and a tribute here. A little bit of greediness from the Falstad. He's going to need to dive out, but the Nubrak is going to follow up. Nice pickup from the Mongoose. Well done, guys. Okay, this is going to be a curse point. Easily going to go over to first pick Nova.
I wonder if Falstad was holding the Gust. He had it back up by the end of that engagement. Maybe he didn't want to blow it for a disengage and save it for this tribute.
That's possible. Seemed like, too, he just didn't get there in time, and I don't know that he could have gotten behind and getting a good value Gust.
Well, I didn't mean for the boss.
Oh,
He was
gotcha.
retreating there at the end, near that bush.
I see.
Could have possibly used the Gust and disengaged out.
Mm-hmm.
First pick Nova's picked up their curse.
Yep, and
4-1 split.
during a curse, you don't want to fight the enemy team. You want to just make sure that you're getting soak, and when you're Pete's Angels, just your goal is to mitigate losses as much as possible. Make sure you're maintaining the soak. Get back on level. They're probably going to get a fort, and they did. Don't fight. Don't make the mistake of fighting and then turning this lead into a greater lead and giving possibly a keep.
Good point. Looks like we got a little.
Nice
scratch in the
return
middle.
taunt here, but the self-divine shield is going to keep Osteel alive, and they're going to be able to turn this fight. This is what I'm talking about. You have to be aware that you do not have the level 13 talent tier. You're a talent tier behind. You have to wait until you're on tier before engaging.
There was that Gust out of Not a Snake. It was a split second too late to save his buddy. Oh, it's a great hook. He's going to be able to roll out and make it to safety.
Yeah, just back, guys. Get a Hearthstone break and come back. They've got the fort. You standing there and watching it is not going to change anything. So just kind of mitigate your losses. Get that 13 talent tier. Get back on track, and you guys can refocus and get back in here. First pick Nova is going to come in and take the siege camp, and they'll probably move down and pressure the bot fort.
It's a good play. You deny your enemy team their giant camp. Buy yourself a little bit of time for that next wave coming through, and you can come bottom and clean up the lane yourself and push into that fort. They should secure it without really any contestation.
All right, full slam build still from the Stitches. The cocktail build is about halfway finished. Should be seeing it finished over the next curse point. The tribute should be spawning within the next 30 seconds, I'd say, so we should see both teams moving to the Bruiser camp. Yep.
That's an interesting positioning here out of First Pick Nova. There's still nobody soaking the top lane. I know they're ahead, but you want to stay as far ahead as you can.
Yeah, soaking is good, you know, until the game is won. If you have a lead, soak. Make that lead even more. That's kind of what makes Fnatic really, really good. They maintain global advantage, and they maintain that soak. So I'd like to see them get that level 16 tier, and they're going to be able to really put the pressure on against Pete's Angels.
Gather tribute or face my curse. The choice.
Oh. Maybe a good, maybe a bad spawn here for Pete's Angels. They're in position to do the curse.
If you're Pete's Angels, I say you just back out. You don't have 16. You're not, you know, the First Pick Nova is not going to get the curse from this tribute, so they need to just get out and not extend First Pick Nova's lead. And they end up giving the tribute anyway, and then they trade Leoric's life for it. Unless they can turn this around, this is not going to look good for them. Cocoon goes down onto, who is that in there? We got the Falstad, Stunlock comes up with the follow-up, and Mongoose has been making the plays. And Osteel's been doing a good job of following up with the stuns on the Anubarak. It's a nice pairing.
They've got a good bromance going on there.
Alright, 11 stacks on Incendiary Elixir. Should be finishing up soon.
That was unfortunate tribute placement for for Pete's Angels. Had the tribute not spawned on the top, they could have traded out a tribute for that boss.
Yeah, that's very true. And I still say again, you have to just keep soaking, get some pressure while you know the tribute's at the bottom. Either go ahead and take the boss or get the top fort down, and it looks like they're going to go for the boss. Wise call from Pete's Angels. But it looks like First Pick Nova is going to respond in kind and take their boss as well.
So this is a difficult decision to make if you're Pete's Angels once you realize they've taken the boss. It's still a fort for a fort, but you're ultimately behind. Do you defend, or do you try to push out a little bit of structure? It looks like they're choosing to defend.
You know, when you're this close to a talent tier, honestly, I say you go get the fort down and you go get that talent tier.
I agree. You take that guaranteed XP boost, and then you can contest.
Which they might get it here anyway. The boss is going to knock down that top fort. Yeah, there's the 16. So they end up making the right play. They get that 16, and they're going to be able to defend this. They got the Gust.
Smart pickup on the Giants to help you defend against the
Yeah,
boss.
really good timing there. Be careful. Watch out for the hooks. You're going to need to spread out and protect your back line here. Okay, and First Pick Nova doesn't want to overcommit here, and they're going to go ahead and get better positioning, and they're probably going to get this curse. Really well played.
Now, First Pick Nova is in an interesting position because they have to vie for this tribute while that still half-health boss, well, not half-health anymore, but is still going to town on the top of their base. It looks like
Oh my goodness, the stun lock Greymane Li Ming combo from Jet, Mongoose, and Tech just rips apart the Falstad, and they're just going to clean up this team. That bush gank is probably going to turn into all three keeps going down. Okay, go straight for keep.
Play.
Yeah, First Pick Nova's really good at setting up those bush ganks. That's definitely one of their fortes.
Right, Osteel was in that good spot to grab the tribute. He left his three buddies in the bush, and you know, it was interesting. Pete's Angels didn't even really know that the Stitches had gone back yet. You gotta wonder what they're feeling after losing the bush gank 3-5 there.
They probably can't core unless they get a gank here. So looks like you know, with 15 seconds left, they're just going to go ahead and posture on back. They're going to be sort of playing back and looking for a gank hook. Otherwise, they need to kind of get out here and play safe. They're looking for the Gust play, not a Snake getting the Gust, but the Divine Shield is going to protect the Uther. You kind of want to bait out the Divine Shield before the Gust comes out. Twilight.
Monster Burrow from Mongoose.
Mongoose getting kind of burned down. Falstad's going to get caught up in the stun locks. And unless they can turn this around...
oh, Servo Stopper
oh
almost had
my
Grendel.
goodness.
Greymane had his back. Who's that on the Greymane? Tech? Good job.
Alrighty. Wise call. You're low. Your resources are low. Back on out. A pretty bold decision, I think, to take the camp here, but they feel confident, you know, with only 3 members on the opposing team to go ahead and take that. So not too shabby. Go ahead and paint the map blue. Get as many things as you can, and keep the pressure on the opposing team. Level 20s, we got the Rewind taken from Anubarak, triple stun lock, Hunter's Blunderbuss from the Greymane, Redemption, standard pick on the Uther, Repulsion taken on Li Ming, and Cannibalize. You're a big fan of Cannibalize. I know
That's
that.
a good talent. if you know you're going to be in the heart of the enemy team wailing away anyway, you might as well get that big 5% of your health pool back with every swing. Stitches is already so hard to kill, and that just makes it worse.
So hard.
Pete's
All right.
Angels cleaning up the only camp they can. Get at least a little bit of denial to First Pick Nova here.
And First Pick Nova, they can afford the luxury of patience at this point. They're just going to be patient, wait in the bush gank, wait for somebody to show, and then you know, they've got everything pushed onto the opposing side of the map. There's really no reason to show over there and possibly risk getting ganked. So they're going to wait for their opportunity. Because Pete's Angels is not going to get 20 anytime soon.
All of Pete's Angels showed in the middle lane here, so First Pick Nova knew it was safe to rotate up. They're going to posture over to get this tribute. It's going to be a somewhat important one, because they don't want Pete's Angels to finally get a curse.
Okay, the hook comes out on Short Spider, but he drops the protect. He's able to get out. Stunlock perfectly onto the landing spot of Servo Stopper. He's going to go down immediately. Osteel posturing defensively, able to stay alive. Ends up taking down the Malfurion.
For Mongoose.
Mongoose just...
He knows when to come in and when to put the damage down.
Oh, the resets on Jet, just ripping the enemy team apart. He's going to get the Calamity onto Not a Snake, and the Wave of Force is going to finish it off. They're going to take the keep, and this should be game. Really nice play from First Pick Nova. Mongoose just setting up the team so well with the stun locks. Good follow-up from the DPS and from Uther. And then really nice rotations from the team. Good job, First Pick Nova. It's going to be a GG.
Grendel even had a couple of really good hooks to set up some of these other plays. And of course, Jet's just been tearing everybody up with these resets.
Nicely done.
So you got to wonder now, if you're Pete's Angels, what do you ban out for the next round?
Well, you got to go with the Anubarak, I think.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, I was chatting with Mongoose saying, why do teams keep letting us get a Anubarak? And, you know, he's definitely the MVP this game. Alrighty.
So now the pressure's on Pete's Angels. Did they realize that that's what was messing them up most of the game?
Yeah, and, you know, that aside, you know, I think they could counter the Anubarak if they, you know, if they focused in on it. I think the big weakness was the not respecting the talent tier disadvantages that they had, and just they needed to give up a few of those tributes in order to, you know, especially at that 16 to 14 contest that they had there. And then when they gave up the curse, you needed to just let the team, you know, don't engage, just get the soak and get caught back up, and not turn over 2 kills to the enemy team, which is what they ended up doing. Not too bad. Nothing that I don't think that they could recover from.
Yeah, good points. I mean, you really got to look at the risk reward of going in, and the risk was way too high for a minimal reward. I think at that point you were talking about at the 14-16 talent tier, first pick Nova was still 3 complete tributes away from getting their curse. That's definitely a time that you can afford to maybe give up that tribute, wait it out for a more reasonable location, even up your talent tiers, and come into the fight with maybe a different strategy. Would have been interesting to see them maybe try to flop down and pick up the opposing boss, since the tribute was in such a bad spot for them.
Yep, yep. You know, it's hard to do. You know, when you're behind, you know, it's one of the big conundrums of the game. What do you do? You know, and usually people are overly reactionary. They see their opponent do something and they feel like they need to be there and sort of pressure them off of what they're doing. If they're taking a fort, hey, we need to go and defend that fort. But instead, you know, sometimes the best response is to make something happen on the field. Don't respond, make something happen. You know, if you see your opponent taking a fort, you go take a fort, and that's going to make sure that at the very least you stay on level. If you go and respond to the opposing team, then you're not getting that soak in the extra lane. You're not getting that XP. They're probably getting a tower or two, or maybe even a fort, maybe even a kill. So you don't want to turn those things over to them. Make something happen, and you know, force your opponent to respond to you.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to take a short little break. For those of you out in internet land, my pregnant wife is home and I would like to go say hello.
Sounds
I'll
good.
be back in a little bit.
We'll take a short little break here. It looks like the game should start back up in about 3 minutes here. Thank you guys in the chat for all of your feedback, and I hope that you've enjoyed it so far. And we'll hop right into game 2 here, which is going to be on Dragonshire. Alrighty, looks like we're about to get going here. And it looks like Pete's Angels has picked Dragonshire. One of my favorite maps. This is a map where you can play patiently. You don't feel like you need to rush and get as many structures as possible down. Play the patient game, play the waiting game. You don't have to get an early Dragon Knight. Remember that early Dragon doesn't get quite as much value as it does in the late game scaling. I love running like a hyper carry comp in the bottom lane with good global control in the top and mid lanes. And that way, what you do naturally is going to push down against the opponent. And then you can have the Dragon Knight to finish that up. First pick Nova gonna first ban that Dahaka, controlling that global. Anubarak, looks like the Pete's Angels learned from their previous game, gonna go ahead and ban out Mongooses' favorite tank on the Anubarak.
Very wise choice, I think.
Yes, 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 yes. We're on the Dragonshire, Mega.
Yeah, so what do you like to control in this map?
Well, I was just saying, love the globals. Love to be able to instantly grab that dragon whenever it happens, but I like the patient game. Get that hyper carry in the bottom, super push that lane, so that what you do naturally without the dragon is already really strong, and then you get that late game dragon, and it just helps clean up the mess. So it looks like first pick Nova going with one of their favorites, the first pick Uther. Nothing wrong with that.
Not quite living up to their namesake there.
No first pick Novas. They do have the
Another
portrait
interesting-
synergy, though.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Another interesting thing to consider about Dragonshire is you need a strong solo laner so that you can keep one of those shrines and allow the rest of your team to push into that lane. I know our team likes to favor maybe the Sonya or even the Rexar to try to keep those shrines. We'll see if anybody else does the same kind of strategy.
That's right. That's right.
The Rexar is just really nice because you can stick the bear up there and just sit on it. You haven't even really wasted your hero.
Looks like that's kind of what
Artanis.
what Pete's Angels is thinking about. Get that Artanis, who's a nice solo, can kind of hold his own on the long extended shrine control fight. Though he might have trouble going into somebody like like the Sonya, if that's what first pick Nova ends up going with.
Artanis is an interesting choice. He's kind of fell off here recently. He does have a lot of good sustain, and in a one-on-one, there's not many that can beat him.
Mm-hmm. Though Pete's Angels might also be seeing that if they can separate first pick Nova, maybe isolate the Uther or something, or maybe even their DPS and get a nice early pickup, then maybe they can turn the tide. However, Asti was really on point with those divine shields last game, so he's very protective of his friends. So, looks like first pick Nova taking up the ETC, our old buddy, making a resurgence over this past week or so, and also the Falstad. They might even go stage dive, go for some double global control here. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about on the Cursed Hollow last game. ETC gives you that other pseudo global. It's on a much longer cooldown than say Falstad or Dahaka, but
yeah,
a global nonetheless.
Sonya Ban, really strong. One of our favorites for sure. But this would be a nice follow up to the ETC. It would be a monster if it had a divine shield on the Sonya. It would just tear into both Artanis and Greymane. So a wise ban from Pete's Angels. Another call.
Chat's saying I'm really quiet again.
Dang, man.
I'll just start screaming.
Pete's Angels is going to take the Greymane. Ariel ban. I've seen Ariel with Artanis sometimes. Just kind of extends his survivability that much more, but can kind of have a little bit of anti-synergy. When he dashes in, you don't want that Divine Aegis to go in on him. All right, so we're looking at Pete's Angels. They're going to want to grab their healer here for sure. Stukov is still up. Malfurion still up. Rhaegar's still up.
Malfurion would be interesting into the swaps that Artanis could provide. Maybe sort of like a pseudo Stitches comp. You pull them in and then blow them up.
Yep. They're going to need to have some sort of counter, I think, to the ETC in the event that he does go mosh pit. There's a high chance that they go stage dive. Both are possible here. Okay, so they go with the Brightwing and Tyrande. I'm excited.
Both of those will cancel the mosh pit.
For sure. I'm a big fan of Tyrande. It's important that you don't think of her as a healer anymore. We really never did, but she's really just a self-sustaining assassin. Stealth assassin, for that matter, after 10. It's really scary. So I like this pickup.
Interesting going the sort of double support route, though. I guess like you were saying, you build Tyrande more into the damage. You don't think about her as support. So that'll pair well with the Greymane or maybe the Artanis if he's in a little low.
Not sure how practiced the team is with the Artanis. If it is something that's in their in their favorites category, and they've got the coordination with swap locations, there could be some really nice swap Lunar Flare combos. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's see what they snap pick here at the end. Going to be the Zagara and Alarak. I like this pickup.
Interesting. So either one of those can be the solo laner for the team. As far as challenging Artanis, I think I'd definitely put Alarak there. But you don't tend to pick up Zagara for her team fight potential.
Yeah, she's definitely going to control that top lane. Surely she goes in the top lane, right?
I would think.
What's interesting is, I mean, they have 3 really solid solo laners, so they can kind of do what they want. I like having at least 2 solid solo laners on my team because it gives you flexibility in case you need to get a quick rotation. Somebody needs to go do a camp. That person is going to be able to, hold their own. So lots of flexibility for first pick Nova.
Very true. That's Zagara is going to help him control the camps too.
Yeah, though I would probably still go mosh pit. Yeah, you could still go mosh pit. I think. There's always that chance that it gets everybody. That it's usually worth taking. If you have that chance for that big blow up. All right, the teams are picked in. Go ahead.
Cleaning up the Stitches.
They did not want that.
Really counting on that pull and stun from the Stitches Tyrande.
Yeah, it can be strong. They've got the polymorph follow-up as well, so if they play back in the lane a little bit, maybe first pick Nova overcommits just a little bit, Pete's Angels is looking to take advantage of that and really displace the enemy team and blow them up. So both teams looking pretty strong here. All right, on the left side, first pick Nova in the blue. We've got Mongoose as the main tank on ETC, Tech on the Alarak, Osteel again on the Uther, Jet on the Falstad, and Grendel picking up the Zagara.
And on the red side, in Pete's Angels, we've got Hopscotch on the Brightwing, Short Spider on the Artanis, Servo Stopper on the Greymane, sub in, what is that, Shawnathon on the Tyrande, and Shoot to Splat on the Stitches.
Shoot to Splat. All right, let's see what talents get picked up here. Volatile Acid being picked up by the Zagara. I know that people go back and forth on what the OP level 1 talent is here. I know Infest is very popular. I do also like the Volatile Acid. What's your favorite here?
So it's sort of situational. In a team with a Greymane on it that can dive you, or even an Artanis that can swap you out, I think the range advantage in Volatile Acid is definitely the way to go. It allows you to hit the enemy gates from your gate, whereas Infest, you have to be near the ranged minions in order to get them the advantage.
Gotcha.
It looks like we've got Pete's Angels setting up for an early gank.
Yep, and they go ahead and send Grendel up top. You know, there's a value in going ahead and splitting with the Zagara. That way she can go ahead and get her creep set up. And shoot to splat, remaining patient, gets a short-range hook, and they get the swap onto Mongoose. And
a little bit of miscommunication with the follow-up Lunar Flare.
yeah, the burden of execution is definitely on Pete's Angels. So if they're going to be able to pull this comp off, they're going to need to be able to get that combo locked down. All right, nice escape from Tech here. Gonna push himself out with the telekinesis.
This sort of double displacement idea they've got going on is going to make it difficult on that Tyrande to pick where the stun target should be.
Oh, Jet getting a little out of position here, but he's gonna probably get out alive. He was rewarded for bad behavior. You gotta be careful there.
Well, he didn't get an owl to the butt, so it worked out for him.
All right,
whoever has already captured that top shrine on Grendel up there.
Yeah, Shoot to Splat's not going to be able to really contest the Zagara, and that's kind of what we were talking about, where First Pick Nova has really three strong solo laners, and so whoever they put up there is going to be nice and controlled. But Jet gets swapped in by Short Spider and gets blown up. Nice coordination from Pete's Angels. And they're going to be able to control this. And the trick here is after you get control over one kill, okay, and it's really early in the game, you're just going to want to use that advantage to out-experience your team, and you know, it's not going to be an early Dragon Knight. Don't count on it being as such. Just worry about getting ahead on experience. Greymaine's going to go ahead and take that camp. I would have liked to see Pete's Angels keep a presence in that bottom lane, though. There's really no reason for us to rotate up to the mid just yet.
Looks like Pete's Angels has swapped out that Artanis in the top lane. There's a little skirmish going on in the middle. Oh, the hook was millimeters off. Just a few pixels.
Okay. Pete's Angels has missed quite a few lanes of soak here in the bottom, and because of that, even though they're a kill up, they are almost, you know, half a level behind. So they're going to need to make sure that they rotate quickly. They've got the Brightwing. They need to make sure they use this global efficiently.
Good hook.
Nice hook with a stun follow-up. The Greymane isn't able to secure the kill, though, on Osteal. The Zagara and Falstad are able to get the kill on Artanis. This is the power of that global with the Falstad. If Grendel communicates to Jet that he's marginally winning the fight against the Artanis, he's able to get him in and get some backup and secure the kill. Ooh, the cocktail just barely missing Mongoose.
Mongoose barely makes it out in the bottom with it was a good hook and Lunar Flare follow-up.
Now this was a good response from Pete's Angels. They you know, they put on the pressure. They lost somebody in the top lane, and so instead of, you know, worrying too much about that, they went ahead and took some towers, and now they're almost caught up on experience. Artanis is going to have a heck of a hard time against this Zagara. Let's check out the talents here. Gonna go with loudspeakers on ETC. Pretty standard, and then Pinball Wizard at 7. I've not personally used this one a whole lot. Usually go with the Echo Pedal.
I've seen it picked up quite a bit here now that ETC is seeing sort of a resurgence in popularity. Oh, we got another skirmish going on in the top lane.
Okay, Pete's Angels looking a little low. They're going to need to be really careful. Tyrande's not going to be able to sustain the team that much, so make sure that you stay high on resources. Get the mana back up, and you will get the dragon eventually with the pseudo-double support, but you're going to have to play it safe.
First Pick Nova's using these globals very well. Jet's back and forth, doing what he can, pushing the lanes out.
Nice follow-up. Unfortunately, all of the stun follow-ups have been used, and Jet's going to be able to just barely inch his way out. The cocktail and the Lunar Flare takes out Mongoose.
It's a great Lunar Flare from Shawnathon.
Oh, gotta follow. Thank you, Bradley D. Might need to affect the sound on there. It was a little loud. Apologize to the listeners. And Pete's Angels is able to secure the Dragon Knight. And with this Dragon Knight, you're just going to want to get the towers. If you get a fort, great.
Pete's Angels is still doing a good job of they're pressuring out the bottom lane and getting that soak, cleaning up the top lane a little bit and getting that soak too. They're staying right on par with experience. They won't be behind when they hit 10. So this is a good play from them. Mongoose comes in with the slide and separates out the team. Shawnathon's in a little bit of trouble. Jet's chasing him down.
Ooh, the hook almost comes in. And what's great about Tyrande, she's going to be able to sustain herself through these 1v1s. But got to be careful there, Jet. Going in. Wow, the self-cast Lunar Flare. Very nicely done. Jet's probably going to go down, and he does. Yeah, Tyrande is going to be able to sustain herself through these fights. Now, this is the opportunity for Pete's Angels to get a little bit of advantage here. They've got a kill advantage. Go ahead and paint the map red. Get those camps taken down.
Grindel's put a lot of pressure in the top lane. He's through the walls, and he's onto the fort, but he is wisely backed up. Looks like he took the Nidus, so he's going to be able to jet all around the map.
Okay, Uther is taking the camp by himself. Little ballsy there, and seeing that Pete's Angels is able to confidently move in. The mosh pit gets all 4 members taken in. The 5 members. I didn't even see Servo Stopper in there. A 5-man queue from Tech, but it ends up with Mongoose going down.
Jet's playing dangerous with those hooks there, trying to make sure he gets the camp. Almost got it. Had to back out at the last minute.
Unfortunately, now it looks like Alarak did complete Chaos Reigns there. He got a massive Discord strike on the team in that mosh pit. So hopefully the next time that happens, he'll have a little bit more burst damage. They really didn't have enough damage to really make a full value mosh pit there. But hopefully as the game goes on, they'll be able to clean that up.
Osteel's having a rough time on the Uther this particular game. He's getting bursted down quite quickly and doesn't have the sustain to keep up. Pete's Angels has a little bit of advantage there with that double support, and Tyrande can sustain herself or a nearby ally. And they've been abusing that fact. Yeah. Pete's Angels takes this bottom camp.
You're gonna have to be careful here. Servo Stopper a little out of position. The Emerald Wind ends up securing the kill on the ETC. The Gust actually is going to hurt Mongoose. Or that's Tech in there, I apologize. The Gust coming at possibly the worst time there after the Gorge.
Little bit of heroic miscommunication.
Which, was probably trying to save him. Didn't realize he was in there just yet. Or didn't realize that Gorge was up. It
Might
happens.
have been one of those simulcast moments.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate timing.
Though Jet and Grendel are definitely going to get the kill on Short Spider here, using that global.
However,
but the Dragon Knight does go over to Pete's Angels. They're definitely getting a fort and possibly a keep wall out of this. They've already got the keep wall down at the bottom with the 3-man. Little overcommitment though.
Short Spider made the right play there by sacrificing to make sure you get the Dragon Knight. Now First Pick Nova is forced to choose, do we defend the mid lane or the bottom? They seem to be doing a pretty good job. Pete's Angels needs to regroup and come at this together, I think.
For sure. They don't want to give anything over to First Pick Nova. Go ahead and just rotate, get an EXP lead.
Came back for a little well tap. Now this is interesting. This creep hasn't been cleared from Grendel at all. And First Pick Nova actually has vision of the entire top of the map, as well as a good portion of the left side.
Yeah, at the very least, Pete's Angels is going to get the fort wall here, and they should be happy with that. After that goes down, they want to play it very cautiously. They end up getting the Gust, but it's miscommunicated with the Lunar Flare, and the Mosh ends up coming in, following after the Gust from Jet. But Mongoose is he was going to go down, but the invulnerability from the Divine Shield is going to come in from Osteel again. But Pete's Angels is really high, and First Pick Nova is really low. They're really split out here. Uther's going to go down, but he's going to be able to put the armor on his team. Jet's probably going to get chased down by the Lunar Flare here, but the swap, again, is miscommunicated. Again, the burden of execution is on Pete's Angels, but they end up securing the kills here. With the double support, they're able to keep the team sustained. Uther's cooldowns are just too long to keep up with Pete's Angels, and now they have a 2-level lead.
Yeah, there's enough pressure on the map. They're going to be able to secure this fort too and increase the lead even a little more. Shoot to Splat there with a hook in the dark. See if he can catch any magic. Unfortunately for him, there was nothing there to get. Get the Scouting Owl on with the Tyrande.
Tech's going to need to play it closer to the wall here. He's going to need to watch out. He saw the Lunar Flare come up, or the Owl, I'm sorry. So he knows that the team is up there. He needs to play closer to the wall. And
Osteel just barely making it out in that top lane from that 3-man gank.
Pete's Angels feels very confident now that they've attained the 16 and taking the Bruiser camp away from First Pick Nova. Zagar's going to have some problems. When she's behind, she's going to struggle, I think. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely. Positioning becomes a major issue, especially when you don't have the creep built up in the bottom like Grindel did in the top lane there. There are some good Nidus placements that's going to allow him to get in and out fairly quickly.
Yeah,
you definitely have to watch your forward positioning.
Yeah, the thing is once you get behind, you get fewer and fewer Nidus networks. So your ability to move around the map gets significantly reduced. All right, so Brightwing is going to get the bottom shrine. And she does have the global to phase shift in if she so chooses.
Jet was in a little bit of trouble there. He managed to roll out in the right direction. Got some heals from Osteel.
Hopscotch is getting whittled down here by Grendel, but Grendel's going to get closed in upon by the Pete's Angels. The Gus is not there just yet. Still on cooldown. Can't save. Grendel ends up going down. All right, so Pete's Angels should be able to secure the bottom camp. They're looking to just get some pressure on the bot keep, and hopefully once they get this Dragon Knight, go in and take it down.
They're playing it very well. It almost looks like a different team from game one.
Yes, much more proactive gameplay, less responsive, and they are definitely respecting the talent tier advantages here. Be careful going through the Bermuda Triangle, as Dreadnought calls it here. Oh my gosh, so many cooldowns being used. Mongoose just gets obliterated. When you're behind like this against a team with Stitches, Tyrande, Artanis, you're going to have to be careful about how you show. So, First Pick Nova does have the ability to bring it back here. They are on the same talent tier, but they're going to need to be careful as to how many kills they give up over the next couple minutes.
Interesting split here from Pete's Angels. I think I probably would have left the Brightwing in the bottom lane with the ability to port out. Let somebody else take that top lane, and then you can jump right on the dragon. Because none of them stayed bottom, the Jet was able to fly in on the false
The
dash.
swap comes in on to Osteel, and then a follow-up from Shoot to Splat with the hook. And the Gorge is probably going to secure this kill. He did pop Divine Shield. Unless August is here to save him, Osteel is going down. So the execution that this team demands for Pete's Angels is really starting to get some momentum. I feel like they've started to slowly figure this team out, and they're able to capitalize on each other. The communication is definitely picking up.
Got a little bit of a dangerous positioning here with the Shawnathon on the Tyrande, though he is stealth. It's like Mongoose might get picked off in the bottom. He's going to slide to safety. Look out for the hook.
Hook is probably going to come in. Nope. Good prediction from Mongoose. They should be able to get this keep if they play it carefully, though. And that should be the minimum reward. They don't go to core unless you can confidently get this keep.
The displacement out of the ETC, you put the dragon between the two keeps. That was, I don't know if it was intentional, but it was good.
Hook comes in on the Jet, but the team is there to body them out. Mosh ends up hitting nobody and gets canceled. Artanis and Greymane rip Jet apart on the Falstad. Keep not going down just yet. Team is looking a little bit low because the Brightwing is in the Dragon Knight. They don't have that heals. But the Hook comes in and the swap to get the Zagara down, and they're going to be able to get this keep.
They might even put a little more pressure here. The Falstad and the Zagara are down from first pick Nova. We'll see how ham they want to go.
Nice follow-up from Servo Stopper. The Brightwing is back up, and so they do have their sustainability back online. But they should look now to just painting the map red. Get that mid-soak. Unless you can get an amazing hook into the Gorge. Now, this is going to be the end of... No?
Wow.
Nice hook, or nice telekinesis. Jet
Setting
flies
up
in,
Gus from
possibly for a
behind.
gust, but don't think that's going to happen. Nice escape there
Position
from
wasn't quite
Tech.
right. Yeah. I'm going to be watching that on a replay tech, and
Jeez.
I'm going to learn how to do that.
Very quick self-cast telekinesis with the MVP D shields from Osteo, which have been on point all night, so you can definitely feel safe with him.
So Pete's Angels has gone through and started picking up the Merc camps. I think I might have liked to see them pressure out this night camp on the side of first pick Nova before they went back to get their Giants. You'll deny them that camp, and then you have the 20 advantage. If they try to pick a fight there, then you probably win that. You can push in.
Yeah, and this is a pretty good call here. They've got a lot of pressure in that bot lane, and so they're going to go and take down the mid wall. And they have 20, so might as well.
Yep, looks like the Shrine phase is coming up, so they're going to back out. Maybe stick around for one more God Hook. No? Well, okay. You can't win them all.
All right, Falstad ends up going with Airy Gusts at 20, as opposed to the Epic Mount. Alarak still has not finished the E-Quest at level 1, but he does have Chaos Reigns finished. So it is a nice amount of damage. Now with the hook, they can patiently wait this out. They do have 20, and it's... That was a self-preservation Gorge, but it's probably not going to help.
Yeah, Shoot to Splat got in an awkward position there, a little bit separated from his team.
But Jet ends up going down as well. So even trade, which when you're a level behind, doesn't help too much.
I like this. Grendel down here taking this camp while the rest of the team skirmish it out.
Sneaky, sneaky. Oh, the stun lock combo with the Hunter's Mark is going to put an end to Osteel's aspirations. And they end
Osteo
up...
got left a little bit out from the rest of his team.
Yeah, the first pick Nova is starting to lose formation a little bit, so they're going to need to tighten it up here if they're going to turn this around. Not a single fort has been taken, so very confident showing from Pete's Angels here. Both teams showing why they are in first place in the division right now.
Hopscotch and the Bright Wings back in the Dragon Knight, pressuring into this mid keep.
Jonathan a little out of position, but he's able to get out with the movement speed there. Keep, at the very least, is definitely going down with this 20-minute Dragon Knight. And they could start to get the shields down.
First pick Nova knows better to engage before they get this level 20. But they can't just let him get free damage on the core here.
The Artanis just shreds Jet to pieces, and then the Lunaflare follow-up on Mongoose takes him down. Counter-Strike ends up saving Tech's life, and they need to make sure that they position on Pete's Angels, position behind the Dragon Knight so that they can get this core down, and it ends up going down. Nice turnaround from Pete's Angels, much tighter gameplay. We got a game 3 on our hands.
Shaping up to be a pretty good series. Yeah, 20-minute Dragon Knight wailing on the core, there's not a lot you can do. You definitely can't hang back and poke at it. But, like I said, they didn't have that level 20 quite yet, so they didn't feel very comfortable engaging.
Yeah, looks like they tended to put Brightwing in the Dragon Knight. She ended up racking up over 200k siege damage. Falstad and Greymane competing for top hero damage there, with Greymane topping 55k. Really nice showing from Servo Stopper. The follow up on the Tyrande stuns and all that chaos that would ensue after Pete's Angels pressed all their abilities was really nice. So good showing for both teams. Alrighty here. So
Sorry for the radio silence, giving the teams both a little bit of pep here. They're doing a really good job.
yeah, really
It's definitely
exciting.
the most interesting series I've ever casted.
That is true. That is true. All right, so it's going to be first pick Nova's map pick. We've seen them be very confident on Infernal Shrines, so that might be one of their comfort picks on this, final game here. Given their specific style of gameplay, what's another map that you think would benefit to their advantage here?
I think Infernal Shrines is probably the best pick for them. They really like to be able to spread out and control objectives when they can, put pressure in off lanes to sort of get their advantage back. They really enjoy globals.
Yep.
Maybe if they were comfortable on Warhead Junction, that might be another option for them. But I think Infernal Shrines is definitely a more standard choice.
For sure. And
then again, that plays into the possibility of your enemy team being more comfortable on the map as well.
Yeah, I think everybody's favorite map is Infernal Shrines. So it's like, it's just such a solid map. There's good comeback potential. And you kind of get rewarded for what we were talking about earlier of just making things happen on the map. If you see that the enemy team is controlling that first shrine, it's not that big a deal. The first Punisher doesn't do a whole lot of damage, so you might as well go take a camp or go, at least split soak the lane and stay on level. Maybe get a Zool, and just keep an experience advantage.
Very good point. I know one thing I've seen a lot of teams do, and we try to do this as well, is if you draft into the more late game team comp on Infernal Shrines, maybe you even give up the first shrine altogether, try to push that experience lead out, and get your early advantage. So there are definitely some interesting sort of metagame strategies you can go through, macro game strategies rather.
For sure, for sure.
Something that the old teammate now Roll20 would like to do is they're not a stranger to giving up the objective to push a different advantage, and that's part of the reason what made them so popular and successful in the first round of the HGC. Of course, they haven't done quite as well in the second part of the season.
That's right. And it looks like they are going to pick up the Infernal Shrines, so they're feeling confident here. I need to change my alert volume real quick. I was blasted with a subscription or a follow alert. It was so loud. So let me get here and change the volume.
Mongoose in the lobby chat, hoping to get that Anubarak back in.
Volume, let's turn that down.
Stream, is my volume any better? Do I need to speak up some more?
At this point, there's nothing I can do. So I've turned you up as loud as possible.
I wonder if there's a limiter on my end anywhere.
I think you can turn yourself up on Discord.
Hold on a second. The hormones are screaming at me.
All right. I've adjusted the volume on our alerts. We should no longer be accosted with Sonic Warfare. Alright, they're still getting the lobby set up here. Team's getting checked in for the next round. I feel you, Capirios. Any time that my team's playing, I am just glued to the screen, and they've actually had to tell me to shut up because I will text them during the game, like, guys, you need to ban this, and oh, you definitely shouldn't have rotated that way, and then they shoot me out. I get a little overeager. All right, we are in the draft. They did go with the Infernal Shrines. First pick, Nova's pick. So first pick is going to go over to Pete's Angels. This is Game 3 of Division 3 Chair League. Both teams, first pick Nova, are in first place within the division. Both sitting at 3 wins, 1 loss. This will determine who is in first place going into next week. We're on Game 3. And Pete's Angels going with the Anub'arak ban. Still not comfortable after that game of letting it through. So
I think if you identify the crux that kept you from winning the first game and potentially the thing that allowed you to win the second one, I don't think it's a bad ban at all.
For sure. And, good map. When everybody's clumped in on the shrine, the Anub'arak is certainly strong. So might as well get rid of that.
I'm a little interested that we haven't seen a Malthael as much as these two teams like to fight.
True. I don't know that anybody on first pick Nova plays Malthael. I haven't seen it in their history, and I'm not too familiar with Pete's Angels. So going with the Kael'thas ban.
Kael'thas ban is great on this map. His flame strikes can control a large portion of the shrine area, either to post to bump the enemy team out or to secure you some extra last minute skulls. Oh, I like the first pickup Uther from Pete's Angels here to deny it out from the first pick Nova.
We have not seen them play Uther tonight, and first pick Nova has had it both games, so they're going to need to swap it up.
You think we'll see the Stukov here?
Possibly. This is a good Stukov map for sure, but also a good map for Malfurion, Rhaegar, even the Brightwing Tyrande if we wanted to see that too. But they are going to need something that's going to pair well with the Greymane. And they go with the Stitches.
Stitch is a very contested hero. So far, he's won both games he's been in.
That's very true. Now,
pretty good stats.
You're a big fan of Stitches on this map. You like the Retchling build where you get the cooldown reduction on your E, right?
Oh yeah, you go for that last bite at 7, and then you pick up that indigestion at 13. You cover the whole shrine area with little Retchlings that just take out all the skulls for you, and then you can be a true frontline for your team.
Yeah.
Plus, that build allows you to self-heal more often. If at 4 you picked up the amplified healing, then Stitches is one very hard tank to kill.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes these fights around the shrines can last long, so it's very important for you to sustain through those. There's a lot of ebb and flow of back and forth there. Okay, Uther Vala combination here. Possibly double support, maybe.
The Dehaka.
All right, Dehaka. I love Dehaka on this map. When stuff is going down in another lane, either through a Punisher or whatnot, I like to play aggressively on this map, make things happen. Go ahead and push out the lane with the Dehaka and respond up top if you need to. All right, if you are first pick Nova, based on the last game and based on the map, who are we looking to not let through here?
You know, if it were me, I would be thinking about limiting the additional tanks because Dahaka doesn't work really well as a solo tank. But we've seen Pete's Angels run this double support. I might be thinking about limiting the support pool because First Pick Nova is also going to get the next picks.
Very true. They could possibly go with a Tyrande again, so that might be on the top of their list. But they end up going with the Arthas, controlling for those tanks, like you said.
It's a great ban. Arthas has a lot of shrine control, just like the Dahaka does. You get that AOE from the what is it, Howling Frost? What is that talent called?
Howling Blast. Howling Blast.
The E.
Or E. You got the
Frozen Tempest.
Frozen Tempest. That's right. That's right.
So that Frozen Tempest, allows you to control that area while simultaneously doing damage to all those minions. You pair that with a Dahaka that can pop his Dark Swarm and walk in between them, and you basically get instant shrine clear on both of your tanks just from zoning. So I think that's probably a good call by First Pick Nova to ban out that Arthas.
Yeah. Pete's Angels is hovering over the Stukov. The silence follow-up after the Stitch's hook can be pretty impactful. It can prevent that Divine Shield from going out if the hook target is Uther. So could prevent the burrow on the Dahaka. Just prevents all those escape mechanisms. So they end up going with that Stukov ban. But that leaves First Pick Nova to possibly take Rhaegar or Malfurion as a follow-up.
Yeah, that Stukov's also great at controlling the area coming into the shrines. If you can silence the entire enemy team walking through one direction, you effectively make them come in the way that you want them to. So I think that was a very smart ban out of Pete's Angels.
Tassadar Malfurion. All right, going with the double support. And Tassadar is also a pretty decent follow-up. If you get the Force Wall, separate the team after the hook. Has really nice shrine clear. You can put him in the solo lane if you need to. It's going to help support that Grey Mane, make him feel confident about diving in. And last couple picks here, we're going to need an off tank or a main tank for Pete's Angels. And they might go with the double support too to counter that on the side of First Pick Nova. Could possibly go with the Tyrande again. They were very successful with that. I'm kind of a hipster. I love the Auriel Uther combo. I don't know if Pete's Angels feels the same way. But who do you think would be a nice solid tank here?
I'm kind of struggling to think of one. All the tanks that I like are either been picked or banned here. We could see the ETC maybe.
Yeah, ETC would be nice. Escape from the hook. Chen.
And they go not what I was expecting.
To know for sure. And they did go with the Tyrande. I like that. The burn from Tyrande is going to outpace the shield from the Tassadar. Chen's an interesting pickup. They don't have any stuns on First Pick Nova's side, so Chen's gonna get some decent value here. But they do need some damage. Either a really strong bruiser-y type melee or another ranged. They could go with like a Cassia here, or
I think I'd like to see a Sonya. They're
Sonya.
Also going to struggle a little bit in a solo lane presence, and she solves all those problems.
Yeah, Sonya would be a nice pickup against the Chen.
Yeah. So they don't have any stuns, but the hook will interrupt drinking.
True.
If Chen is a priority to burn down for you. I'm really interested to see what they're going to pick here. Diablo.
Hey.
Favorite of ours.
For sure, and definitely got plenty of stuns to counter the Chen. That seems very specific. I don't recall First Pick Nova playing Diablo a whole lot. It definitely seems like they were focused on countering the Chen for sure, but this is definitely one of Diablo's stronger maps, so can't go wrong.
It's going to be a good matchup. I'm excited to see both of these teams. Coming into our game 3 here.
Yep, and if anybody's just tuning in, this is game 3 of Chair League Division 3 between First Pick Nova and Pete's Angels. And both teams are sitting in first place right now, looking to take that coveted spot and kind of establish their position into the second half of the season. All right, so Greymane going to be carrying the burden of execution for First Pick Nova. All the damage is on his hands. Tech can put out a pretty decent amount of damage on the Tassadar. Alrighty. On the blue side, First Pick Nova, we've got Mongoose serving as the main tank on Stitches. Tech doing that range damage. Flex on Tassadar. Osteel, again, as the main healer on Malfurion. Jet on Greymane. And Grendel on Diablo.
Over to the red side, we've got Servo Stopper on the Dahaka, Shoot to Splat on the Chin, Flyboy on the Uther, Not a Snake on Vala, and Shawnathon back on the Tyrande.
Alright, he's had a very successful run on that last game. Not as much follow-up potential with the Dahaka, but they do have the Uther follow-up, and...
Oh, I like this play here from First Pick Nova. They're not going straight up the middle. Setting up a little bit of a party bush down here. Looking for a good hook.
Ooh, just barely misses on Servo Stopper.
I'll be interested to see how they follow up those hooks this game.
Hook comes in onto Grendel. The stun follow-up with the Hunter's Mark is going to burn him down immediately. Shawnathon just making the plays on Tyrande tonight.
You gotta wonder if maybe First Pick Nova shouldn't have banned the Tyrande out.
Very true. I was kind of hoping that on the second pick, they ended up banning the Arthas. Alright, so we get the E-Quest on the Tyrande. Pretty standard nowadays. Elusive Brawler on the Chen. Hook comes in on Not a Snake, but he's able to vault his way out.
Shoot to Splat's just gonna be able to sit there and take anything the enemy team can throw at him. No fear jumping in to save the Vala.
Hook comes in onto Flyboy on the Uther, and he's going to hopefully be able to make his way out of here, but I think there's just going to be too many follow-ups with Grendel, and Jet ends up securing the kill. Oh, no. The Moonfire ends up getting the kill on Flyboy.
That damage Malfurion build.
Tassadar going into the Templar's Will. Really solid damage. You know, I see sometimes people go with the Psionic Storm quest here too because of the Shrine Clear. It can be really strong as well, but certainly Templar's Will is going to be very, very powerful. Hook comes in from Mongoose onto Servo Stopper.
Wow, what a great burrow.
Because all the stuns were, all the very limited stuns were popped on First Pick Nova, Servo Stopper very confidently knew that he could just burrow out. And the Shrine's going to go ahead and get started. They have the Tassadar. They're going to be able to get...
in a little bit of trouble. Greymane's going to go in. Jet doesn't quite secure the kill. Now he's in an awkward spot.
Yeah, a little bit of an overcommitment here from First Pick Nova, but he is going to be able to get out. He does have the double support to make him feel confident about going in that deep. The hook might come in here at the end. They're going to need to be careful. Mongoose low in mana. He's probably going to be looking to get a drink here soon.
So I think if you're Pete's Angels, you have to think, can we get in there and actually secure these, or do we go ahead and start pushing our other lanes out?
It is a possibility. First Pick Nova is running low on resources, so they can get in here and get a quick stun gank with the Uther Tyrande. They possibly can do this. Servo Stopper is going to be a little bit out of position. He tries to get the burrow, but he ends up getting stopped with the stun. But he ends up surviving.
A great burrow, and his team came in to bail him out. Servo Stopper, you need to buy your team some drinks.
Pretty even on the Shrines here, but Tassadar can potentially poke this out. The hook comes in onto Not a Snake, and he gets deleted immediately.
A little bit of a miscommunication with Jet diving in there, but it all worked out for him. He was in an awkward spot for a minute.
They end up securing the Shrine here. Dahaka should be looking to go to the bot lane and pressuring that out. And if you're first pick Nova, you should also continue to split soak.
I think it's important for both teams right now to have a presence in every lane, but we see the top lane abandoned by both teams.
Now you notice the first pick Nova ends up taking down the bottom wall first before the towers, and that's because they wanted Mongoose to have a potential avenue for getting a hook in there. It didn't end up happening because of just the timing there, but it was, you could see the intention there. Servo Stopper might get caught out here. Really great at timing those burrows with the trait, and he ends up getting out again. This is
Wow.
one slippery Dahaka, but he goes right into Jet's hands. Holy cow. And Jet ends up
Wow.
going down.
The cleanup from Not a Snake, what great teamwork there.
Servo Stopper. My man.
I'm gonna have to request some lessons. Tech's in a little bit of trouble in the bottom lane. He's gonna be able to E right out of it with that dimensional shift.
Team's looking relatively even right now. Got 2 kills each. Pretty much even on experience. Let's take a look at the talents. Dahaka ended up going with the enhanced agility. Such a quality of life improvement over the old Dahaka, in my opinion. Just a race car now. Can feel comfortable on any map. And end up going with Monster Hunter and the Q build on the Vala, which is about a third of the way complete.
Q build's gonna be, oh, shoot to splat, gets hooked. Bottom lane, but he manages to walk right out. There's not a lot they can do to secure him. The Diablo wasn't there for the follow-up displacement. That Q build out of the Vala is going to allow the Vala to have a little bit of additional range and some damage input onto the tanks.
For sure. Malfurion ends up taking the healing reduction on his level 7 with the Strangling Vines. Can be really powerful against a double support. Kind of like that Malthael level 7 talent. A little more situational. And of course, Uther Tyrande doesn't necessarily do a whole lot of healing, but they do it in short bursts. So if you can time it to where you're reducing that burst healing, it's going to really hurt Pete's Angels.
Both teams picked up their respective Merc camps. First pick Nova got a little bit luckier having theirs push down that... Oh, Malfurion just got deleted. Servo Stopper gets a good tongue onto Grendel.
For sure.
He just walks right back out.
Merc camp is going to get a little bit of value there in the mid lane. It is just the Khazra camp. They're not too strong, but it is just enough. Either team will get 10, I don't think, before this is finished. Mongoose taking a lot of damage from Tyrande. Oh, the hook onto the Chen
Wow.
with the follow-up stun into the wall. However, the Punisher ends up going over to Pete's Angels.
It's a really gutsy play out of Mongoose. That hook in could have very easily had the Chen turn on him, and Mongoose could have fallen. Diablo bait the Punisher over the wall.
Alright.
Pete's Angels isn't going too ham to push this fort. They do have Dahaka split soaking in the middle, which I appreciate.
Hook comes in on a Not a Snake. He gets a quite big burst of damage, but just too quick on the Vala. He's able to get out there very easily.
So Pete's Angels is getting these momentary experience bursts that gives them just the slightest seconds ahead in their talent tier leads, but they're not pressuring in to make those seconds count. For example, they had the heroics first, but they weren't anywhere near anybody on first pick Nova to be able to catch them out. Servo Stopper almost getting caught out again. Manages to walk back down into his lane. Look at this Grendel Mongoose bush gank.
Shonathan out of position. Was not predicting the bush gank there, but he is going to get out. He does have the Shadow Stalk with the movement speed to get out there. The Rain of Vengeance comes down on the Mongoose, but he's able to walk on out of here.
Oh, shoot to splat, diving in. Lunar Flare is still being dropped. He's trapped behind the force wall. He's gonna pop the 3 Papa Bears here. And he's just going to walk right out. It's amazing when you see these fights and all the damage goes out and all the heroics are used and nobody dies. See the follow-up hook on the Shawnathon. Bush Gank Part 2. Shawnathon on Tyrande ends up going down. Not a Snake is really low.
Divine
Clutch
Shield comes
Divine
on to
Shield.
Not a Snake right at the last second, and he's able to get out. Helping Hand gets Grendel out of position, back into the loving arms of his team. And they go straight for that camp.
That was a great play out of First Pick Nova. When the first Bush Gank fails, you don't often think that they'll set up a second one in exactly the same location.
Good point.
I mean, it was a brilliant play. You gotta give him props for that.
A lot of heroics on cooldown now. Gorge is up. Short cooldown on Cursed Bullet. Which does technically give the advantage to First Pick Nova here.
Once again, First Pick Nova has that one camp putting pressure in the bottom lane. It'll give them a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, nice,
they've
nice
postured-
control.
They've postured better on the Shrine as well, so they've got a definite lead. Servo Stopper getting the tongue on the Stitches. Pete's Angels trying to go after the back line.
Gorge
Goes for
comes
the
down
steal,
onto the
First Pick
Tyrande,
Nova.
and he's going to get put behind the wall. The Gorge spits him out, but Mongoose is looking really low. He ends up going down too.
Wow.
They end up trading evenly.
Shawnathon with the revenge kill on the Stitches there. Mongoose got a little bit unlucky, I think. Servo Stopper getting low, having to back out.
Twilight Dream hits just about everybody, and it's going to force Pete's Angels, dude, back on out of here. They don't have the resources to continue this. The the double support is making these fights last really, really long. Lots of resources and heroics being used. Nobody going down. So
It's gonna be easy pickup out of First Pick Nova here.
for sure,
You
Pete's
know,
Angels looking to get back on talent tier advantage. Even this late in the game, I do recommend keeping the Dahaka split until absolutely necessary. If they get a fort, not the end of the world.
I would have liked First Pick Nova to go back and grab their Shaman camp at maybe the 39 count mark. Just have Tassadar throw a W and clean up.
Very
So-
true. Servo Stopper
Servo
tries
Stopper-
to save Flyboy because he was caught by the hook, and he ends up going down for it. You know, when you have the Punisher coming in on your wall, the flip over from Diablo brings Shootasplat out of position. He's able to get behind. He ends up going down from the Punisher stun. This is starting to turn in favor of First Pick Nova. With 3 teams down, four
another
players down,
Shawnathon.
they should take this keep down immediately. So this is what I was about to say. When you don't have the fort wall up and the Punisher is bearing down, especially when you're an Uther and you're melee, there's zero reason to be in a position that is contesting that Punisher. Give that fort up. There's nothing that you can do to contest it. Just go ahead and accept the fact that it's going to go down. Prepare yourself, keep the soak, and don't give a kill to the other team. We kind of saw this also in the Cursed Hollow game in Game 1.
I like this from First Pick Nova, grabbing that Shaman camp. Probably rotate out to some of their other camps. It looks like they might be trying to invade this Khazra camp.
Yeah, they'll go ahead and take the triangle down here because they know Pete's Angels is going to have to respond up top. So what was a fairly even game has really turned into the favor of First Pick Nova. An entire talent tier advantage just from that one Punisher. You know, really see the value of just giving up a fort.
I almost wonder if Pete's Angels, who's on the chin here, Shoot to Splat wouldn't have been better off going Barrel to get a little bit of extra displacement. That's
True.
really the biggest tool in First Pick Nova's arsenal is they can get this overpower and charge from Grendel, and then Mongoose can either follow up or set up with the hook.
Very true. When you get when a hook comes in on you, being able to barrel out and put pressure on the enemy team, just make chaos happen. Could be very impactful. But the route onto the Chen keeps him from going out from behind the fort, but he does end up summoning the Bear Brothers to get out there. Dahaka pushes down the top fort, trying to get back onto the same talent tier, but they have two cannons barreling down the mid lane here. So hopefully they can keep the pressure on. They're not going to be able to contest this shrine just yet. They need to go ahead and get the pressure off that mid lane before they ever have a chance of going in there. And it is what they're going to do.
Unfortunately, there's no mid keep to bait this Punisher over to. They might be able to try to draw it back to the core, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to contest this Punisher at all.
You know, with the shrine in the bottom lane, there may have been some value in just keeping the Dahaka up top and forcing a response out of First Pick Nova to challenge them in that top lane. Maybe even distract. Now, First Pick Nova making a great play here. They know that they've got control of the shrine. They're going to go ahead and take the Shaman camp up in the top left and then finish up the shrine when they feel like it.
Looks like Grendel and Ostiel went ahead and capped the shrine. Try to get the camp and the shrine moving at the same time. It's a good play.
All right, Pete's Angel's going to want to pull this behind and bring it to the core. There's zero reason to fight it out here when you don't have level 16 talent tier. This is really dangerous from Pete's Angels. Hopefully they can get back behind the wall. The Divine Shield ends up being popped. They end up having to use this resource here, and Mongoose is going to put the Gorge onto Servo Stopper, and the Twilight Dream secures it. Yeah, Pete's Angels should have pulled that back behind the wall, and now this is going to turn heavily in favor of First Pick Nova.
Oh, Flybo almost makes it out. Gets caught by, looked like a Fire Stomp. Punisher still going to town on the keep. Pete's Angels is fighting 2 down. They finally are at the 16 talent tier. It looks like First Pick Nova might be backing up.
Yeah, they can back up just a little bit and possibly play this from a hook position, but they end up getting the nice charge onto Not a Snake and burn him. They should go for core right here.
That was a great pick.
Greymane is just ripping into the core, doing what he does best. Panda Bros coming out, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, to save the core here. And that is GG. Match goes over to First Pick Nova. GG, guys. Great game from both teams.
Very good series out of both of these teams.
And there's
so a lot of what we saw out of Pete's Angels that ended up getting them further behind was not quite playing the from behind position correctly. That one call out that we saw where the Chen was far ahead, I believe what actually happened was the hook went out onto the Uther, and the Chen dove in to allow the Uther to get away. So this is a position, if you have that barrel, you can barrel off the enemy team and everybody retreats through the gate safely. But as a Chen who has the Panda Pals, there's not a lot you can do to make sure the enemy team gets off of you, especially when they're all clumped right there in front of that gate. And he was pretty much doomed by jumping in.
Yeah, and we kind of saw Pete's Angels reverting back to their game 1 style of responding and feeling like they needed to be there and watch the forts go down. Would like to see a little bit more defensive position. Stitches played a massive role tonight for both teams. And it kind of informed the behavior of both teams, whether how far they played back, how aggressively they played, and it seemed like both teams were very, very comfortable with Stitches. So it was almost as if Pete's Angels was playing as if they had a Stitches, but they weren't. But very great series from both teams. Had a blast casting you guys. Thank you for letting us do this. The VODs will be up tonight. Mega Zergling, thank you for coming tonight, my man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me in. I was hesitant to do it. I'm a little bit nervous, but I think I had a lot of fun.
No, you did great, man. And chat, thanks for sticking around and participating. Thank you for all the feedback on in terms of audio and all that stuff. I appreciate it. This is our maiden voyage on this channel, so thank you very very much. Hopefully, we'll improve over time. Please give us all the feedback in terms of casting that you have. Um, and hopefully we can improve and keep this going. So thank you very, very much, and good night.